Welcome back. Jollster 23 here once again, getting ready for this last match of the day. Really important one too, pretty good. We got even worse timing versus Red Dojo. And we're gonna go right into the picks and bans. Lance, what are you looking for here? What do you expect after watching these guys most of the day?
What I am looking for is a Red Dojo victory, baby. I am so hyped that once again, this team has made it to the last game in our group stage. They did that last time as well, ended up falling to Rogue, I believe, and it ended up getting that seed that put them against our eventual champions, Royalty, in the first round. I know that they are not going to be satisfied if they lose this game. This is what they were playing for, and I would love to see how they respond to this pressure situation, although they are up against an absolute damn juggernaut in even worse timing with the players that they have. The last time we saw Shin, I think he went 17-1 or 10-1 or something. I think he was 10-1-7, had a 17 kill participation in a 22 kill game. Can't give that guy Bellica. I don't know if you can give him any champion. I don't know if you can just ban a player from the game, but that would be a great strategy for Red Dojo. However, they're going to just have to settle for banning the Steel. The Sevrog is going to get banned from even worse timing as well, and this first pick is going to be pretty important for even worse timing. It's the Rampage as expected.
Yeah, that Rampage, like I said before, that's so bad. I just those two things you will most likely see 90% of the times. Those are just two big boys that you do not want to run on the opponent's team, and you do not want to be seen just running around at all.
That does leave a lot of good options up for Red Dojo here. We do see the Decker, who does make it through this pick order, as well as the Gideon as well. So a little bit of an answer to that long-range CC engagement. That even worse timing we'll have with Rampage, with the Decker, and then, pretty much the best mid lane team fight ultimate in the game currently with that Black Hole coming out of Gideon. Atomic is going to be the one piloting that, the captain of this team, the moral leader of this team as well. Definitely going to be looking for Atomic to have a big performance on this Gideon. It is going to be answered by the Grux and the Murdochs coming out of even worse timing as well. So we will see Pablo Wazowski on somebody other than the Revenant this time, as he has picked the Murdoch up for himself.
Yeah, it's coming out of his comfort pick there. So picking up that Murdoch definitely going to be a fun sight. Seen him play it once or twice, and he's still just as good on that Murdoch. With the big Grux pick, that's been seen all day. Grux is in and is a little bit more of the meta than he has been in the near past. Is more like where he was in the beginning of the game. So it's very exciting to see that Grux back in the game. And then obviously we see that Kira and Chimera pick. Chimera just been coming out of the woodworks lately. What do you think about that?
I'm not exactly sure what is swinging Chimera into the favor. Me personally, I like the idea of Rampage still probably being number one. I think Richter is probably the second tier jungler right now, just because of the pick potential he provides, and then how quick his early clear is. They did change a little bit of a Chimera. They gave him that quality life adjustment where if he leaps in the air as his stacks are about to fall off, it keeps them stopped back down to one. The other thing I want to point out is that with Murdoch picked, you can safely pick Kira knowing you're not going to have to play it into a Drungo. So Red Dojo is going to pit Natty onto that comfort pick with Kira right away. But even worse timing is going to answer it up with Bellica and Morigesh. We just saw the impact Morigesh had on that last game with Appy Picker in it. Crunch is going to round out the rotation for Red Dojo as well. And we have got some really strong champions coming into this game for both teams. I don't necessarily know who I would think has a better team comp here. Even worse time is definitely looking for more of that pick 1v1 quick skirmishes between one person. Red Dojo looking more for the team fight aspect of it with the Gideon, with the Kira. Crunch as well to try to fend off some of what even worse timing is going to be working towards, but definitely a game of rock, paper, scissors here, it seems like.
Yeah, it's definitely a mixed comp coming from both sides. You have tankiness, you have just kind of all-in characters. So it's going to be one of those things to where you want to get a pick, but you also want to team fight a little bit. So it's kind of like you're looking for 3v3s, you're looking for 2v2s, but you're not necessarily just looking for a 5v5 team fight with these teams.
Definitely what you said there. We are probably going to get into this action for just a little bit. We haven't heard from you in a quick second here, Jollster. What would you predict so far for this match based on the comps?
I mean, it's an interesting matchup. Red Dojo is outdone any expectation I had for them going into this. They've definitely improved as a team since the last event, but this is even worse timing. And you could tell by this draft, they are saying beat us in lane, beat us 1v1. We just have better players. So I'm curious to see how this match turns out. I'm gonna have to lean towards even worse timing, but who knows? Red Dojo might surprise me again, like they've been doing all day.
I hate to say it, but I am leaning even worse timings side at this point as well. I think that they are just too solid of a team. If you remember back in our group stage reveal when we went through who was going to be playing who on today's event, I said I think even worse timing is going to end June as our reigning champion. I think that they are that good of a team. I think that they are destined to hit that spot. But if there's any team that is going to knock them down, I couldn't ask for any better team than Red Dojo. My personal favorite. Can't wait to get into this match and see where these teams are going to fall, and then be able to provide you with a list of all of the matchups that will happen on the 17th. And we are going to get into the game, it looks like.
Yeah, and as we get into this game here, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm looking at Red Dojo upsetting worst timing here. They've been doing it all day, and I think they're going to pull it out once again. They've just been such a dominant force to be reckoned with. A couple little bit of mistakes in the games, but I think they could pull this one out at this end of the day.
Yeah, Dojo definitely making the heroes climb so far. Getting into one of the tougher groups with both Red Dojo and Professors in Group A, probably the hardest one for somebody to have to overclimb. Really quick, very interesting. We only see the Snoop. Can we switch characters quick to see if we can get the other enemy or the other players of the team on the mini map quick choice? Looks like that might be a little bit of an issue for us here, but we do have all 5 members of Red Dojo doing what we saw them do in the last game, running through that red side jungle, gonna drop a ward down. Doesn't look like there's anybody around for them to burn the blinks of or engage onto, but this is good for them in order to be able to get started. Pablo's going to take a little bit of a peek from them with his back towards the mid lane here, but he needs to be a little careful here. If Peck gets a good stun ball down onto him, he is in for a hurting, but he is going to get himself out to safety, going to get these resets right as the minions are respawning, and everybody's going to get out into their appropriate lanes. You see the Morigesh into the Gideon matchup. That is what we saw in the last match as well. Definitely went in favor of the Morigesh. Don't know that happened in lane, and not as much from the pressure that Appy put on the sides of the map, but keep your eyes on that lane, as I think that one is going to be very explosive with Gideon versus Morigesh.
Yeah, that's going to be a battle for the ages coming at each other right there. They both have that poke. They both have that damage that comes out from those blast mages. And Shen, he's just a great player. Look at him being a little bit aggressive here, kind of just trying to ward out, kind of get vision on that side of the jungle, seeing where the enemy jungler is to make sure he's on the safer side of things.
Yep, making sure that he isn't too vulnerable for a gank, trying to get the pathing that Frankie B is going to use early. Try to get an idea of where he is at so that they could potentially invade with Ray here, make some good moves. And once early on in here, we do have Shin pushing Atomic into his tower, burning through a little bit of his mana early, but Atomic is going to be able to just stop this here, stop it from hitting his tower, reset the wave to the middle of the lane, which is exactly where the Gideon wants it. Gonna look over here, get a ward down on the enemy's 2 camp as well. Look to see if he can get that same information that Shin got through his ward, just taking his opportunity to do it, and they are just shoving their waves in the mid. It looks like Atomic's actually got the push advantage at this point in time, as he now does have access at the level 3 to both of his damaging abilities, as well as that torn space as well. And Snoop's got to be a little careful, as North is taking it to him over here. It looks like he's rocking the tag Monster Truck Dan, but I do assure you that is North.
Well, he is putting a bean on him, and he's being a big truck over there, Mr. Dan, aka North. Surprisingly, this Crunch is winning against this Grux. Oh, no, he's not. A big pull coming from Snoop to even up the matchup there. Now their health bars looking the same. Snoop is just baiting him on that tower line and being able to do that. So he has a little bit less mana than he needs to really get in there and engage, but good job turning that health bar around.
Yeah, and he does know that he's got his... North does know that Frankie B is over on his side, so he's got a little bit of an ally there in case the skirmish gets long or in case Ray shows up. But he does need to be mindful of this. Snoop does have very low mana here, so North may be able to take a good engage on him. We'll decide if he decides to be aggro about this or decides to work it out safely. Gonna move in onto him, hits the level 4. They do it at the same time, gonna hit the forward crunch, and here comes Frankie B to try to stop him as well. That's gonna be the flash out of Snoop there, and that's gonna be the Scion buff as a consolation prize. Natty needs to be careful as they are pushing him back into his tower, but Pablo's only got about a sliver of health left on him as well. No real way to get back to him unless Peck hits a really, really long stun ball here, though. So probably no first blood falling unless somebody gets very aggressive. We do see the Rampage has came over. Ray's going to try to move in. Peck's going to move out here. Going to have to use the double jump to get over, but Ray's going to follow him with the pounce himself. Peck's got nowhere to go. Both these characters have their flash stuff. Peck's going to be smart not to use his. Good idea there to save it, and Ray's going to pick up first blood. Good job for even worse timing, having that perfect timing rotation on that blink. Atomic's chased all the way back to his tier 2 tower as well. Frankie B is going to jump down onto the Rampage here and Ray, but you're fighting him in the jungle where he's got that health regeneration, and you need to be careful, Frankie. He's going to have to give his 2 camp up as well, as Atomic has to reset and is not here to help him. Oh, he's going to get aggro though. He does not give a single toot, but Pablo and Vecron are going to come over as well. Frankie's going to flash forward, but it's not going to be enough, and they're going to be able to pick him up. That's going to be 2 kills now, but Pablo's going to fall back. Ray is still very low, but he's going to be able to pounce over the wall. Peck's going to double jump over it, as well as a reverse scenario from where we were at before. Quantum Beam's going to come through. He's going to take one more auto from Peck, who's going to be able to follow it up. Get hit the stun ball as well, and Peck is going absolutely bananas here, as Vecron needs to be careful. He's only got a sliver of health. He's going to fall as well, in great pursuit by Red Dojo there to turn that around. Be up 1 kill at the end of the day, 2-3 so far.
Yeah, Peak was not happy about that kill or that death that he got earlier from the Rampage. He came back out swinging and he went chasing. Good follow-up from Atomic, going with the support, following him, back him up. Great rotation from Natty there.
Ooh, and Pablo's going to come out of nowhere. He's not going to miss too many auto attacks. Needs to be careful. He does have a minion wave here to stop him, but Natty is going to fall to it. Pablo did blink for that, though. Peck doesn't really have the mana in order to be able to pursue Pablo here, even with the mana or the minion wave on his side. So he's going to have to back up, push that B button, go get what he can with the gold that is available in his pocket, and that's going to even our kill score up. Still no neutral objectives taken yet within this game, but let's just take a look at who is doing well. So far, we got Atomic with 100% kill participation in here at 2-0-2. We've got Pablo Wazowski at 2-1-0 as well, getting really good. Shin still sitting at 0-0-0, and we do have a small CS advantage coming over to even worse timing, but it is pretty minuscule. 2 CS right now, 4 CS. It's gonna change as the game changes. Right?
It should, right? Yeah, unless it's a very even team all the way through the game. But we should see that little bit of fluctuation, especially when they go after the first objective. That's when you're going to see start to see those little differences after who secures that first objective. But I don't know if that blink was worth it from Pablo. Yeah, he got a kill, but now he has about another 4.5 minutes of, hey, watch out, the jungler might be rotating. Great pop-up from the Bellica there. Put a little bit of pressure, and they were able to secure the buff off of that.
Yeah, this is actually the time that I'd like to see Red Dojo strike, see if they were paying attention to those blink timers, as all 5 are down for even worse timing right now. Looks like Red Dojo's got the majority of theirs up right now. Maybe a good opportunity for them to claim one of these neutral objectives or take an advantageous team fight where they can escape with the blinks while even worse timing can't. But that is some top level stuff to keep track of 5 blinks all at one time. I'm not sure that they would even know that all 5 are down right now. And it looks like they're just going to get back to farming for the time.
I mean, they should know at least the Pablo on the duo side is down. Gideon is level 7, a whole level ahead of Mortgage there. Crunch over here punching, a big ult coming up from the Grux to try and stop this Crunch from coming at him. He's just swinging those clubs, going full caveman. He could definitely beat the Crunch here, and the Crunch needs to be careful, even though it is North.
Yeah, really smart play by the Snoop there. Knows that he was about to level up to 7 as well, so he was going to have that stat advantage, have that little bit of regen as well. But Atomic is going to roam over, try to help him, try to pick him up as well, and Monster Truck Dan is going to run him over with those big tires, and that is the Snoop entering spectator mode for 20 seconds.
Yeah, he has a lot of time to think about what he just did there. He should have just took it and just got out when he could. Obviously, enemy missing mid probably didn't go off there, but we'll blame Shin on that a little bit later on.
Yeah, we're not one to pass blame. We move forward, not backwards. And speaking of moving backwards, that's what Monster Truck Dan needs to do here, as members of even worse timing are coming into the lane. The Behemoth has came out, gonna try to throw that long insta rock from Ray to pick him up, as well as North really doesn't have anywhere to go. Needs to be careful, gonna hit the forward crunch to try to get out, but Shin is still here, gets the mark on him, gonna be able to ult him down, probably gonna be able to save it himself. Oh, tries to turn around on it, North does, but knows that he's dead, steps into the tower, and Shin is going to be able to pick that one up.
Yeah, Shin was not scared at all, and Shin wanted that kid badly. Crunch
Oh,
made a little mistake there.
we just had a sweep in the duo lane as well. I'm not necessarily sure. Atomic must have got it with a black hole. Just a sliver of health left. I just saw both Pablo and Vecron fall down. Natty's going to come over here to pick the rest of this wave up, but wonderful rotation by Captain Atomic.
Captain Atomic out here, he is running away a lot today with almost 0 health. But like I say, 1 health or 1,000, you still win is a win.
Yep, doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. I believe Vin Diesel said that in one of the Fast and Furious movies, correct?
Yes, that
yes,
is.
yeah.
And family.
Great quote, family. Yeah, anyways. So we got to look at this action. We got pretty full health bars everywhere right now, so not a whole lot of action going on. Still looking to see, we did have a Fang Tooth taken by even worse timing. We must have missed that. That must have been going on while another fight was happening. So the first neutral objective has been claimed. A little bit of an advantage towards even worse timing there. Still 7-7 in kills as Peck and Natty are looking once again to play with Pablo and Vecron. See if they can use a little bit of this advantage that they have with Pablo and Vecron spending a little bit more time in base than them to see if they can kill them down, get a little bit of an advantage, but they are going to push them into the tier 1 tower, and then Pablo and Vecron are going to be able to back up, take that lane buff of the gold, and then get a little bit extra into their pockets. Probably hit now to reset themselves right here as they did just get back into lane, but we are just kind of in a neutral spot right now until somebody decides to pull the trigger on either the second Fang Tooth or the Mini Prime.
Yeah, this is a very close game, and as we expected, competition at the highest of levels coming out at you at the last game of this round robin here. So looking like Shin just jumped off the top rope, spooked Atomic a little bit there, kind of jumped back, right? The Witch Doctor doing her things, but just setting up waves here, just looking to clear, nice and passive. Crunch looking like he's pushing in Gruffs on over there in the off lane. Snoop looking a little bit low, but still able to get the wave, trying to freeze it here. But Monster Truck Dan is back at it, being like, hey, you're not going to farm here for free, bud.
Oh,
this is my leg.
Interesting to see Snoop eat into him there. I thought that he might need to save that to keep himself safe here. Must have his ult available in case Norv does decide to dive him here. He's going to be smart, decide not to jump into somebody with as much crowd control as Grux has underneath the tier 1 tower there. Shin's going to roam over here as well, see if he can get the hive down on him, but not quite enough. Unfortunately, neither of those buffs were the movement speed one, or that probably would have spelled the end for Monster Truck Dan over here. The Scion buff is still on cooldown as well, so we are just going to get a reset, and as Pablo is retreating over here in this other lane, as Atomic comes through with another black hole just on the edge of it, though, so Pablo is able to step out, and now Atomic's got to retreat as his health bar is going low. Ray's going to pop in, use his rock to hit Frankie B, who does have the Mini Prime, by the way, who is having to retreat as his health bar is going low. Peck is here to try to peel them off, should have a cage available to him. Gonna have to jump through the portal is Frankie B to get himself back to safety, and that's going to be Red Dojo having to retreat and give up this second Fang Tooth. To even worse timing for taking that fight at the perfect opportunity to push the strong side of the map back to their base so they can take the neutral objective, and that is right where they want to be. That's going to be the second one for them. 8% out of combat movement speed for all of them. So a great answer. Even though Frankie B was able to pick up that Mini Prime, they are now still ahead in neutral objectives.
Yeah, Fang Tooth is one of those objectives. It doesn't stack like it used to, but it is still dangerous to be behind on those Fang Tooths or Fang Teeths. Depends on which one you want to pick, but good job on even worse timing there to be able to pick up another objective. They didn't necessarily have to get any kills there, but they got the pressure they needed to apply it and to be able to get another objective on secured underneath their belt.
Right, they definitely would have taken both of them, but they're not gonna hesitate to take that Fang Tooth when they get the opportunity as well. Really good job by them, especially to keep Pablo alive in that, as Atomic was super close to blowing him up. The black hole was right on the edge. That stimulus pack was able to get the Murdoch out of it, have him live to fight another day, have him be around there to add that DPS to the Fang Tooth, which is exactly what they needed. Atomic is going to get ganked here, though. Rock's going to fly in as well, but he is going to step back into his tier 1 turret as he's got that movement speed buff to keep himself safe, still in a pretty good spot for him.
Yeah, that gank right there, not a lot of people will think it's useful because they didn't really get a kill, but just getting that extra poke on Atomic there, giving Shin the pressure to roam to either the duo lane or to the solo lane off of just that is all you need to put yourself ahead.
Definitely agree and look to see him do that soon, as Monster Truck Dan is going to get hit by a rock from a long way. Ray is here, but he's going to need to help Snoop soon because he is falling very low. That Rhino is running out of health, but it's not going to be quite enough for them to pick them up. Monster Truck Dan needs to be very careful as he is going to get picked up. Great rotation by Ray coming over, helping out Grux. Going to be able to give him that Scion buff as well. Give him some of that health back that he lost during that fight. Help him push another wave or two before North is going to respawn. And that's great lane pressure in the off lane for even worse timing.
Yeah, and then we over here, Natty, gets away with silver health, a long arm of the law, catches Kira slipping, and here goes Belisha, who's pushing the works onto Peck over there in the dual lane, able to push her out, and she's going to have to back, and this looks like if they stay long enough with no ganks, a T1 tower and a kill for even worse timing.
Yeah, that is going to fall right away. It does look like North, it looks like they were able to get the tier 1 tower in the off lane as well over there. So really good tower pressure coming out of even worse timing based off of these ganks that Ray has been providing coming to his lanes. Not necessarily when it's the most advantageous to like get a kill, but when it's going to get them the most pressure, when it's going to be the most advantageous for them for the grand scheme of the map to move their pieces around, to be able to get the tier 1 towers to start gaining a global gold advantage against Red Dojo, which is what you need to set them apart, as the kills are still very close with 10-8. However, even worse timing starting to just get a little bit extra on top of that, stuff that into their pockets, up 2 towers, up 2 Fang Teeth, right where they want to be right now.
Yeah, it looks like Atomic picked up a kill in mid there on Shin from the help of Chimera there. But still not enough to kind of get them back in because they're still down 2 Fang Tooth, down 2 kills. So we're looking at even worse timing here, kind of still having that pressure around the map. As you said, getting those T1 towers down and being able to push. And Shin is going to be a little bit aggressive here, not scared of anything. That he's able just to clear the map or clear the wave whenever she wants, just by running through it and healing at the same time.
She definitely is. She's got Atomic way back with his back against the wall in his tier 1 tower. Can't even step out of it without the minions there, as he knows he does not win the direct 1v1 against Shin, and the fact that even worse timing was all the way over to his right in his red side jungle. If he steps up, they just pull off Natty onto him there, and they get to pick who they kill. Good job for both of them surviving here, as a lot of pressure is coming out of even worse timing here, just trying to get control of the enemy's red side jungle. Very important for them. Frankie's gonna try to do what he can to stop them from doing it, but he is gonna pop during this fight. Atomic's gonna come in and open a giant black hole, but he's gonna get stopped pretty immediately. Doesn't have the torn space to get himself out, and Vecron's gonna hit him with the ult, and that's gonna kill him as well. And the rest of the team, Red Dojo, are retreating back through the fog wall, as they're gonna have to give their red buff up to the enemy.
A series of unfortunate events happened there for Red Dojo. Not the way they wanted to go. I don't think that was a fight they should have taken. They were not in position. Natty and Peak were on the opposite side. Looks like Cruncher's punching all the way over there, just doing what he needs to do to clear that wave. But he does have that T2 still up, live and ready to go.
Definitely. And Monster Truck Dan's going to hit a quick reset here. See if we can get a quick tab while we've got a little bit of a break, even though I would assume even worse timing is taking 3rd Fangtooth right now. Let's just take a quick little look at the items. We got the Overlord coming through for Frankie B. He's in a little bit of a tough spot at 0-2. Pablo Wazowski is looking absolutely massive at 6-2. Already got that Stormbreaker and the Lightning Hawk finished up there. Atomic's looking strong as well at 5-1-3. Got the Megacosm, got the Tainted Scepter, got 2 Codexes as well, probably building his way into either another armor pen item with that cane or the Fusel cane, or potentially into Combustion, Wraith Leggings, who knows, just something strong for himself to continue pumping that damage out, as Red Dojo is going to need to try to climb into his backpack if they have any hopes of winning this game. Even worse timing is starting to move on to this mini prime as well. They should be able to pick that up as well, claim the second one of the game for themselves. Big lane pressure now coming out of the Snoop, having that buff gifted over to the Rampage. That should be enough to push down. Oh, that looks like this tier 1 tower is already down. Potentially make a move onto the tier 2 after he picks this Scion buff up.
Yeah, looks like he's just gonna probably sit back, settle with the green buff, see what the map is doing, and try and get the map awareness back up and see if they could use something with that prime. They do have it for a little bit. It is only mini prime, so only one person has it, but they should be looking to either get a T2 or just put pressure somewhere else on the map with it.
So I don't think that this game is completely done yet for Red Dojo, but it is starting to look pretty bleak for them. What sort of things would you like to see from them, Six, in order for them to be able to come out and turn the tide in this match?
They're going to need to group up a lot more around Atomic. Atomic right now is big. They were talking about the big black hole. Oh no, the long arm of the law all the way across the world takes the big man down.
And that's a lot of shutdown gold onto Pablo too. Keep going though, Six.
Yeah, he definitely got a lot of gold off that one. But like I was saying before, they need to play around Atomic. The man is big. The man is huge. He's bigger than Rampage in his ult right now. Play around him. Make him carry you. Jump in his backpack. Just make sure he's there at the center of your fights. And it looks like Frankie is in a bad position, getting CC'd to death. Oh no, and he doesn't have an escape. And down goes Chimera, the swinging man. Unfortunate for them there. Looks like Ray's just everywhere where he needs to be since the very beginning of the game.
Yeah, a big unfortunate situation for Frankie B here, as Chimera is one of the worst players or worst characters to play from behind, as he is kind of an all gas, no brakes, gonna jump on your face kind of champion. When you can't stat check somebody with that champion, he does feel pretty lousy, and unfortunately that is the situation Frankie Bussin has found himself in this time. It may be standing more for busting than bussing during this match.
Oh no, they do not want to hear that, but you are correct, my friend Lance. They need to get something working together. Somebody needs to start making these calls, making sure everybody's on the same page. They need some more wards out. They need to get a way to farm while still maintaining an eye on these objectives, so they're able to either make a counterplay or get a pick and make the initiation on these objectives to get themselves back in, especially being down 3 Fang Ts, and now they're behind the power curve.
I completely agree with you. I usually don't adhere to the game plan of death balling. However, I think that Red Dojo needs to stick as 5 in pretty much all situations where they can see somebody else on the map. They might have to give up a couple of these tier 2s, maybe even an inhibitor to sacrifice that, but they need to get some picks, especially off onto Pablo. They need to get some big gold into some of their carries' pockets, and they need to try to alleviate some of this pressure by creating some themselves, by grouping together and pushing down an objective as either 4 or maybe 5.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna need to get some XP somewhere around, but that whole entire 5-man mentality rotating throughout the map. Yes, you don't get as much XP, but you are going to be able to start winning these fights to get XP through kills and get it through objectives. So they need to figure it out and get together, especially on this blue buff. They're just invading their jungle left and right, and Frankie's trying to force these fights, and he needs to get out of there.
Yeah, Frankie's in danger here again. He is going to jump forward, try to see if he can trade a little bit of damage off onto the shin. Snoop's going to jump in as well, hit the overhead clap, which is going to pop Natty. It's going to be enough to get him. Atomic's going to jump up with a giant black hole, catching 2 of them, but not quite enough damage to knock them down. Ray's going to jump away with just a sliver of health and get away with it as well. Snoop is the only one left in this fight right here, and Norf is going to be able to track him down. Ray's gonna get out, and Pablo is just respawning, gonna jump in here as the members of Red Dojo run away here. But actually it was almost a good fight for Red Dojo. They were able to get some kills, but they themselves died too. But when you're at a disadvantage, both teams wiping feels like a win when you're the team that's behind.
Yes, it feels like a win, but you know where those kills went? Off to Pablo, and that is not what you want to see in the game when you're behind like this. So, like I said before, they're going to need to figure something out, because I'm telling you right now, it's not looking too great, and they're looking like they're moving towards the Primordial Fang. Yep, I would run to North, because this man is hurting. You need to get out of there, Bubba. Blink,
yeah, he's going to have to blink too, and I don't blame him one bit, as one more auto attack would have been enough to knock him down, make him look more like a Ford Ranger than a monster truck.
Yeah, good old Ford Ranger. It's tough, but it's not big enough against that Pablo, I tell you what. But it looks like they're going to get this Primordial Fang for free. They're grouping up for it. Not a lot of the Red Dojo around. They're going to have to let it go. They need a ward up on the Orb Prime. Maybe try and get a pick for it, but it's not looking too good for them.
Yeah, that is going to be the Primordial secure for them. You see those awesome breach cleaves coming out from Pablo there, looking real cool. I love those effects. I love the fact that that can crit as well. Choice, will you actually press tab for me really quick so I can confirm he's got breach and that wasn't Overlord? He doesn't. It was Overlord. I apologize to everybody. Still a cool looking effect. Nonetheless, though, he's got that Stormbreaker. He's got the Lightning Hawk. He's got the Sky Splitter and the Demolisher as well, doing so much damage. And anybody that's got extra health than Pablo does, he's going to be dealing extra damage to them as well with that rework to Demolisher here. At 11-3, looking a whole lot like Pablo Sanchez more than Pablo Wazowski, and it's starting to get grimmer and grimmer for Red Dojo. We see Natty in here at 1-6 as well. Atomic's kind of the only bright spot that they've got on their roster. North's still a super strong player, but he is at 3-4. Good CS numbers coming out from the majority of them, but overall they are down a pretty sizable amount of CS as another team fight is going to start off. Monster Truck Dan's going to jump in there, but it's going to go a little bit wide. Roy is going to jump in with the Behemoth. Got the rock available. Peck and North are going to get picked pretty much immediately, and here falls the rest of the team, as well as Ray is going to get both Frankie B and Atomic in that, and only Natty is going to remain. That's the 4-for-0 for Even Worse Timing as they fight immediately after taking that Primal Fangtooth there. Having that extra burn, just too much for Red Dojo to deal with.
Yeah, that is not a fight you want to take, especially after a big objective like that. It looks like they're just going to run it down mid and end the game here because they had the opportunity to. And they got they got the big ace over there, and they're just going to take it here. And I don't think Pete could do too much, especially with the talents coming out and a big rock. And that's just a big disrespect by Ray that he didn't have to do all that. But GG's.
And that's going to be the game. That's going to be our team qualifying for second seed. That's going to be Even Worse Timing. Congratulations to Red Dojo as well for claiming our 3 seed. And that is all the predecessor we have for you today. What a great tournament. We've got some more analyst work that we got to do to talk about these games. But that is the completion of the games for so far.
All right, man. The fantastic game. Pretty fun to watch. I think that Even Worse Timing did pretty good. Maybe looked good. It was almost like I already knew what was going to happen.
See into the future there, Jollster.
I know. Great talent there. So just a few stats. I actually have stats on this game. It was a 28.4 CS per minute for Red Dojo compared to almost 32 CS per minute with Even Worse Timing. Do you think that was kind of a factor here? Was just getting that little bit of extra farm per minute that built up throughout the game, or was it just the objectives that really changed it?
It's hard to win a game when you're down 4 Fang Teeth to nothing. That the neutral objectives, other than that first mini prime, went completely into Even Worse Timing's side. The CS advantage definitely helps. The gold advantage helps, but the majority of that pressure came from getting those 3 early Fang Teeth, that late mini prime, that or prime, that primal Fangtooth, all of the different things they did to shut that game out.
Yeah, and then obviously that CS lead is going to go up once you're winning objectives, and we saw that throughout the game. Red Dojo was just unable to really answer those objective calls and be there together at the same time as Even Worse Timing. So that kind of put them ahead. I don't think it was necessarily the CS playing the big part in the game. I feel like the objectives turned into the CS lead.
Oh, yes. And it ends up with it being Even Worse Timing, getting the second seed. They're kind of on top of that other side of the bracket there, with Red Dojo being in third. Now, we were talking about with the last match, 4th and 5th, they're going to play each other again, but these two teams have an opportunity to play each other again in semifinals. What do you think of the likelihood of that in the main event?
I think it is very likely. That showcase in that match, I don't think showed the full potential of Red Dojo. One, it was already a little bit later in the day. A lot more games have been played. And also, I just think they haven't really seen too much of Even Worse Timing, and they didn't really go for it or practice with them too much. So I think them going into the actual main event, they'll have a little bit more scrims to go through, get a little bit better on those rotation of objectives to be able to fight back with Even Worse Timing.
Yeah, and as we move forward, since I've already mentioned part of the bracket, anyways, just to go through all of it, we have our number one seed in Rogue, since they automatically qualify, being one of our finalists from last time. With number two seed as even worse timing, 3, Red Dojo, 4, Dirty Lake and the Boys, 5th, Orcapod, 6th, The Professors, 7th, No Communication, and 8th, Double Vision. Lance, how do you feel about all these setups, these different games we're going to see?
I will be honest with you. I am saddened once again to see Red Dojo get a juggernaut in quarterfinals. Last event that they had to face Royalty round 1. This time they're going to have to face the Professors round 1. Professors is going to be motivated with the loss that they took to them in group play. Red Dojo kind of spanked them. They beat them 34-8, but that was without the best support in NA, Crazy Fool. So I'm a little disappointed that once again Red Dojo has got, probably a tournament favorite within the quarterfinal matchup, but the rest of these are looking really good as well. I think that Orcapod has a decent potential to be able to upset Dirty Lake and the Boys, and I honestly wouldn't be terribly surprised to see Double Vision take at least one game off of Rogue. Probably not win that series. My boy Pinzo's pretty solid over there on that team. However, I wouldn't be surprised to see them get one game out of it. So I think we got some real good matchups coming in on our quarterfinals.
Yeah, and F6. I mean, who's your favorite in this? Who do you think is going to be that big upset?
The biggest upset, I think it's going to be Rogue falling from the number one spot. I think a lot of people are thinking they're going to come back at it, but I feel like that we're going to see a lot of big upsets all the time in this, because all these matches we've seen today have been so close. Very minor changes, one objective change, one kill change, and they could have been the other way around.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's one thing I've noticed. Like each time we do the PCC, the teams get better and better. And going this time around, I actually kind of slipped up with Double Vision earlier today after they lost their first game. I told them they wouldn't make it out of group play. They proved me wrong, and they fought their way back into 8th seed. So you know what? I'm right there with you, F6. I think they might be that first team to pull the upset of the number one seed in quarterfinals.
Definitely see it for sure, because they played one hell of a tournament. Even though they did take one loss, they came back, they got it together, and they played a hell of a game.
Definitely. And as we go to move towards the end of the stream, it's been really fun, been really enjoyable. We are planning on doing another show on Saturday. Lance, if you'd like to give us an idea of what that's going to be like.
We are just going to do like a preview show. It's going to be me, probably Jack, and we're going to just get together. We're going to talk about some of the matchups that are coming in. We're going to review what happened all today. We're going to go through the games, share a bunch of stats with you. We're going to have a couple of guests on as well as soon as we can book them. So if any players are out there and are interested in potentially contributing to the PCC's content, slide into either me or Jollster's DMs, and we can definitely help you out with that. But it'll be at the same time tomorrow, or not tomorrow, sorry, next week on Saturday. You can see us there. We may be able to convince F6 to pop by. And if all of our talent drops out, you'll get another Jollster face reveal.
Oh yeah, as always. I may actually join on that one. That's something I'm more comfortable with. Let's talk some stats. Maybe I can work with Moogie a little bit, seeing what he's been doing on the other side. Really great work there. And I would like to also take this opportunity to thank everybody that we don't always get to see, like Choice, always working in the background here, handling the production, doing such a fantastic job. Tedium for that video he made with the recap, fantastic, top tier in the community, I can tell you that. And also Monarch 94J helping out with the teams today. They don't have to do that, but volunteering their time and helping me out, so I'm not running around crazy in the background. It's been fantastic. And thank you as well, F6, always showing up here, being a good caster. And I would say something nice to Lance, but I can't stand that Hawkeyes hat. But thank you to everybody for watching as well. And please stay tuned. Make sure you follow and stick with the Twitch. Pay attention to our YouTube as well, as we'll be putting all the VODs up there. Keep an eye out for the show and join us back on the 17th to find out who wins.
Hold on. You didn't ask me who I think is going to win. You didn't ask me for a prediction of the main event. What's going on with that?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Lance.
I'll take the professors. They're going to 2-0. They're going to 2-0. And then they're going to 3-0. Let's go, professors.
Trying to get back into Crazy Fool's favor. I like
Yeah, he's trying his best.
All right. Sorry. I had to get that in there.
All right. Well, thank you from everyone in the PCC. Have a nice day, and we'll see you again on the 10th.
Have a good one.